Hello dear students, I am Gopi Krishna from Vasishta Educational Institutions. So today I am going to cover the entire mathematics subject. So how to approach in the examination. So now I want to break down the entire syllabus into two groups. So the first group is easy to learn and easy to answer. And the second group is the group which requires a strong conceptual base. So if we see the previous year's questions and in general the paper analysis, it is observed that 16 questions on average can be answered very easily with minimum preparation in these less number of days, in these 10 days. Then 9 questions on average can be difficult questions in the exam. So 16 are very easy to answer and 9 they require some effort to conquer those questions. Now in the easy to answer and easy to learn group, so here what I observed is the topic of algebra. If you consider algebra, so the easiest topics which can be revised in less number of time and which has more weightage. So they happen to be matrices and determinants, then binomial theorem, quadratic equations and expressions, progressions, and finally statistics, sets and relations. So and the weightage of each topic you can see here, right? So matrices and determinants, coming to the topic matrices and determinants, every year we will be getting 2 questions from matrices and determinants. One question will be from matrices, one question will be from determinants, or one from matrices, one from solving system of equations. In these two, so many years you can see in many sessions, both the questions are easy to answer, but sometimes the matrices question can be difficult to answer. So, but in that case, you can easily answer the determinants question or you can easily answer the solving system of equations question. So in system of equations, what type of questions can be asked? So the system is having infinitely many solutions, or the system is having no solution, or the system is having unique solution, or the system is having a non-trivial solution. So that type of questions when they are asked using the determinant method, and you know all the methods, so they are the general questions which you can see in the examination. Sometimes from matrices, very conceptually, very deep subjectual knowledge is required. Sometimes a big calculation is required. Sometimes the question may be associated with the P and C. That type of questions will also be asked from matrices. So when that type of question comes, then we will see how to answer that question in the later. Okay. Next, coming to the binomial theorem session, it is the easiest and compulsorily to answer topic. Compulsorily you have to answer the topic from binomial theorem. Because the binomial quotients is not in the syllabus, in the current syllabus. In 2024, NTA announced that it is only up to the terms of the binomial expansion. So when it comes to the terms of binomial expansion, you will get the questions from like the number of terms in the whole expansion. It may not be binomial, it may not be trinomial, it may not be multiple terms expansion. So and the term independent of x, the term having quotient of x power r, rth term from the beginning, rth term from the end, right? And the questions based on CR by CR plus 1 formula, NCR plus NCR plus 1 is equal to N plus 1 CR plus 1 formula. So the numerically greatest term, the remainder when some number is divided by 7, so a remainder when some number is divided by some another number, and the last digit in any big expansion, that type of questions only will come from binomial theorem, and all of those are very easy to answer. Okay, without any confusion, you can start the question and you can easily answer those questions. Whereas in 2024, they stick to strictly the terms, but in 2025, few questions came from binomial quotients also. So it is important that just try to have the idea of the basic properties of binomial quotients. Don't leave that topic at all. So try to learn the basic concepts of binomial quotients. Some series expansion is there. So just try to learn those series, right? That is about the binomial theorem. Now, when it comes to the quadratic equations and expressions, mostly it is easy topic only. The questions will be given on the relation between roots and quotients or location of roots quotients. And sometimes the roots will be given as some alpha by alpha plus 1 and another root is alpha minus 1 by alpha. So then you have to find the relation between the roots and quotients. That type of questions will come in the quadratic equations and expressions. So what will happen is sometimes in quadratic equations and expressions, the roots are imaginary and that imaginary roots is combined with the complex numbers topic. Okay, so mostly when the roots are imaginary, they will be omega and omega square. Then comes the cube roots of unity properties in this quadratic equations and expressions. And of late, in the recent years, from quadratic equations, we are getting the questions like, I will try to write here. So like it is given as some Pn is equal to alpha power n plus beta power n. So then what will be the value of P15 plus P13 plus P17 plus P14 whole divided by P11 plus P9. So this type of questions, you can see many questions of this type in quadratic equations. Either it can be alpha power n plus beta power n or alpha power n minus beta power n. So try to practice these questions as many as possible. All these questions are available in all PYQs and all your materials. Okay, so after algebra, next comes the topic calculus. So in calculus, there are many very good topics are there, but all of them require strong conceptual knowledge, right? So now the topics which you can easily answer with less preparation happen to be limits. Limits, as you know, so from limits you may get the questions based on L'Hospital rule or 1 power infinity form, right? So next, the LHL is equal to RHL. So these are the questions you have to definitely concentrate. The questions which will have the integral part, the fractional part, the modulus. Those questions you have to definitely practice, definitely, okay? So limits is having only few types. So either the questions based on L'Hospital rule or the questions based on the Cauchy's rule, that is 1 power infinity form, and the questions based on LHL and RHL. The same thing continues with the continuity and differentiability also. It is also more or less extension of limits only. So these are the topics you have to see in limits. These are the models, right, Anna? Next, the differential equations. This is another topic which is very, very easy to answer. Definitely you should not miss the question from differential equations. So mostly you will be getting the question from like solving the differential equation. So the question may come from the variables separable method or the linear differential equation. So in linear differential equation over the years, they are always giving the question based on the linear in y, and dy by dx plus p into y is equal to q. So many number of times that came in the exam, but this time try to focus on dx by dy plus p into x is equal to q, where the integrating factor will be e power integration of p dy, right? So that model also, just revise that model. After that, the questions which can be converted to the differential equation means the Bernoulli's equation. After some simple substitution, you can convert the equation into the linear differential equation. So that model also, just go through that model also. So in calculus, there are other topics like indefinite integration, definite integration areas, but they are enormous syllabus is there, but you will get one question from each topic. We will discuss about that topic later. So next in this easy to learn and easy to answer series, let us see. Next happens to be the geometry part. In geometry, straight lines. So straight lines, definitely be thorough with the centroid, orthocenter, circumcenter properties and the related problems, right? And like length of the median, length of the altitude, those formulae also try to be thorough with those formulae. And if the paper happen to be difficult in your session, so be expect to face the question based on the parametric equations. x1 plus r cos theta and y1 plus r sin theta. Definitely, if the paper happened to be a difficult paper, so then you can expect a question from this concept in straight lines, right? So after that, straight lines, the regular thing, the perpendicular distance, foot of the perpendicular, image, areas of different polygons, area of triangle and area of quadrilateral, all the questions you can expect from straight lines. But so revise the questions based on this concept thoroughly, right? That is about straight lines. Next comes parabola. So as NTA announced that last year, the tangents and normals of the conics is not in the syllabus. So you can expect the questions based on the basic properties of parabola. Like the distance between the focus directrix happen to be 2a. Next, the focal chord, the properties of focal chord. So T1, T2 is equal to -1. The focal distance, so SP is equal to x1 plus a. So basic properties of the parabola. The length of the lattice rectum. So those type of questions you have to learn from this topic parabola. Okay. Next comes the ellipse and hyperbola. Both of them more or less they are the same topics with a slight difference in the formulae. So ellipse and hyperbola, here also the tangents and normals part he is not giving, but the questions based on the eccentricity is being asked. Eccentricity related with the length of the lattice rectum questions, right? Distance between the foci and the ratio in which the focus divides the line segment joining the center and the foot of the directrix Z. So all those type of questions, they are very, very simple. Okay, so try to learn and try to learn those distances and all that. And you may expect questions based on SP plus S dash P is equal to 2A. Questions based on this concept also you can expect. So in parabola, the focal distance all of us know it is x1 plus a. In ellipse, what is the focal distance formula? In ellipse, the focal distance formula happens to be a plus ex1 from one focus. From the other focus, the distance is a minus ex1. So this is the part which is less touched till the date. So you may expect questions based on this a plus ex1 and a minus ex1, the focal distances of ellipse. In hyperbola, the same distances will become ex1 plus a and ex1 minus a. Because in ellipse, SP plus S dash P is 2a, whereas in hyperbola, SP minus S dash P, the absolute difference happens to be 2a. So of late, not many questions were given from this subtopic. So you can expect questions based on this subtopic. Okay, so this is the basic eccentricity properties and the distances, lengths of the lattice rectum, the ratios in the diagram. So if there is a ellipse, so what is the ratio in which the center, the focus divides the center and the foot of the perpendicular from center onto the directrix. So what is the ratio in which S divides CZ? And what is the ratio in which the vertex divides CZ? These properties you have to learn definitely. Okay. Next, coming to the parametric equations. So you may expect questions based on A cos theta and B sin theta also. Okay. So these are the questions we can expect in geometry. So they are straight lines, parabola, ellipse and hyperbola. These are the topics which you have to be thorough. And since it is geometry, some calculation is required. So sometimes you may get questions based on irrational numbers also. Okay, be patient, have patience, try to simplify patiently. You may get irrational numbers, but ultimately you will get the answer. It may take 3 to 4 minutes, these topics also. Okay, it is not possible to finish off the answer in 1 minute or 2 minutes. This definitely take some time. Okay, be prepared to face some irrational coordinates in this topic. So after geometry, now the most important happens to be vectors and 3D geometry. So both the topics are the same type of topics. So just in this IJK will be given, but here the points are given as the coordinates. So both of them are more or less the same type of things. Now coming to vectors, so you may get the questions from addition of vectors, dot product and cross product, right? The multiple products is not in the syllabus actually. So only one question will come from vectors, and that question will be, so like three vectors are coplanar. You have to find the unknown vector C bar. So that C bar can be expressed as XA bar plus YB bar. To find X and Y, a dot product relation and a cross product relation will also be given as hints. So you can expect that type of questions in vectors. Coplanarity with dot and cross products. Okay. Next, coming to only dot product, you may expect the questions based on projection, the orthogonal projection and the vector component and scalar component of both the projection formulae. Compulsorily go through the projection formulae. Now coming to the cross product, the areas concept. So what is the area of quadrilateral when the diagonals are given? What is the area of the triangle when the sides are given, when the vertices are given, all the types of the area models in cross product. And the vector which is perpendicular to both A bar and B bar. The vector which is perpendicular to both A bar and B bar. So which is A bar cross B bar. Questions you may expect on these concepts, right? So next comes the 3D geometry part. So this is a very important part. So in this, the number of questions I have given one, but actually from this you will get two questions you will get. I expect one question will be easy to answer and one question may be slightly difficult to answer, may involve some calculation. The questions in 3D geometry, definitely the first priority is to be given to the shortest distance, definitely. Shortest distance between skew lines. So this is the one which is the favorite in the 3D geometry and very, very important. After that, the foot of the perpendicular in the case of straight lines, the image. So planes is not in the syllabus actually, but just don't leave the topic planes completely. Just have basic idea of planes also, even though it is not in the syllabus. Just go through the basic properties of planes. So in straight lines, mostly the questions will be based on if a line is given to be x minus x1 by a is equal to y minus y1 by b is equal to z minus z1 by c. In most of the questions of straight lines, you have to consider is equal to lambda and you have to take the general point x, y, z. With that general point, you have to find the value of lambda. So mostly that type of questions only will come in the straight lines. And point of intersection of straight lines. So the equation of line of shortest distance. So those models you can expect in the 3D geometry. Right? So vectors and 3D geometry are also definitely favorites. All the students must answer the questions, the three questions which come from these two topics. Definitely. Don't leave these. So they take very less time to revise. Right, Nana? Next comes the trigonometry. As you know, trigonometry is actually a trap. So sometimes you may get the questions which are very easy to answer. Sometimes you may get the question which requires elaborate calculation. So if you go into the trap, then your time will be wasted. So in up to transformations like compound angles, multiple submultiple angles, transformations, up to that, if any question comes, try to finish off the answer by taking some suitable substitution. Don't try to do the entire elaborate process. It will eat up your time. Okay. So try to finish off the problem with some suitable substitution. Next comes the inverse trigonometric functions. In inverse trigonometric functions, the domains and ranges of inverse trigonometric functions is very, very important. Mostly the question will be related with the domains and ranges of inverse trigonometric functions only. Right? Be thorough with the domains and ranges of inverse trigonometric functions. After that, in inverse trigonometry, you may get the question based on the formula of tan inverse x minus tan inverse y, the summation of tan inverse x minus tan inverse y, telescopic summation. When you expand this, the terms will get cancelled. or you may get the questions based on solve the given equation which is in inverse trigonometric functions. After getting the solution, ensure that that solution belongs to the domain and ranges of the inverse trigonometric functions. That value of x should belong to the domain of the given function. Okay, so be sure that you have to recheck that given the answer that you get, right? So this is about the inverse trigonometric functions. So till now we have seen the 16 questions which are easy to learn and easy to answer. 16 questions. Now these are the topics which require strong conceptual base, definitely. So the first comes the permutation and combinations. So in permutations and combinations, if the question based on the rank of a given word, easy to answer, you can answer that. But many times you are getting the questions which are based on the elaborate counting process. In that counting process, if any one case missed, there is a chance that you may get a wrong answer. Particularly when this question comes from numerical value answers, be careful with that. So be cautious. I don't say leave this topic, prepare that thoroughly, but give preference to those questions. If time permits, then you can answer this also, but with caution when it comes in numerical answer questions. You understood? Next, the probability. So it is actually a easy topic, but some students feel this difficult because it is based on logic. Both the topics are based on logic. So this probability, many times you may get the questions on Bayes theorem. The questions on Bayes theorem, and some the general probability questions also you will get. Okay, so and previous years, if you see questions based on random variable in 2 or 3 sessions, you may get the questions based on random variables also. So the students who are afraid of this topic, it is better that you first try to attempt the initial topics which I explained. After that, you can come back to this probability. Okay, so the independent events, so neither A nor B happening, and the Bayes theorem. So from 3 bags, some balls are taken. So if one of them is found to be green ball, what is the chance that it is taken from bag A? That type of the Bayes theorem questions will come, but with the different contexts, right? So this is the topic probability. Next comes complex numbers. So now complex numbers, don't be afraid of complex numbers. If any question in complex number comes, you try to see that question as the question in geometry only. So because any question on modulus is nothing but distance and argument is nothing but slope. Try to convert the question of complex numbers into geometry, then it is easy to answer. And as previously I said, the questions based on the nth roots of unity or cube roots of unity will come in quadratic equations, where the roots happen to be omega and omega square. Then some summation questions will be given based on omega and omega square. In that type of questions, try to write minimum 3 terms, then only you generalize. Minimum 3 terms you have to write. You have to write minimum 3 terms. So 3 terms you have to write in the cube roots of unity questions, because in cube roots of unity, after 3 terms only a pattern will be followed. Okay, so don't be confined with only 1 term or 2 terms. It is important in complex numbers when any summation question is given, right, Nana? So next, in complex numbers you will get the question based on locus. So as you will write that z as x plus iy, and the question converts to the geometry part, and you can easily answer that. Okay, so any question of complex number, you try to see that as the geometry question, and then you will feel confident to answer that. Next, definite integration. So this is a very important topic. You should not leave this. Even though it requires a strong conceptual base, it is very important even in advanced exam also. So definite integration covers the properties of definite integration, the Leibniz rule, the periodic functions, the Wallis formula, inequalities of definite integration. So any question can come. So it is having more weightage. So it is either 2 questions or sometimes 3 questions also will come in one session from this definite integration topic. Okay, so in definite integration, at least properties of definite integration, and the Leibniz rule. Be thorough with those two types of questions in definite integration. So very intelligently the question will be framed. If you are thorough with the preparation, you can easily crack that whatever the logic they have given, you can crack that and you can answer the question from the definite integration. Next comes the areas. So this requires much time. Usually it will take 7 minutes to answer the question from this areas topic. So because you have to draw the graph, you have to identify the graph correctly, and then you have to mark the points where to where you have to integrate, and then it requires calculation also. It takes 7 minutes, so be cautious while you answer this areas question. If time permits, then only you try to answer this in the beginning, or you keep this for the end. Okay, so first you try to finish off with the easier ones, then the elaborate calculation it will be in the end. Try to attempt this in the end. Next comes circles. So it is also a topic. You will get only one question, but there is a vast syllabus is there. So many questions, so many models are there. As you know, many questions, position of a point, position of a circle with respect to another circle. So the tangents, the lengths of the chords, chord of contact. So any question can come from circles. So here also you can expect irrational coordinates. Big calculations may be expected in circles also. If time permits, then you can come here, right? So then the applications of derivatives, AOD. So even though it appears to be a single topic, actually it is previously it used to be 5 topics. So now, because last year the syllabus is reduced, now only rate measure, increasing, decreasing functions and maxima, minima are only there in this. So even though it appears to be a single topic name, but there are actually 3 topics. From these 3 topics, you will get only one question in the exam, right? Either the question will be from increasing, decreasing functions, or the question may be from maxima and minima. Very rarely you may get a question from rate measure. So increasing, decreasing you can easily answer. So for increasing function, f dash x greater than 0. For decreasing function, f dash x less than 0. Those concepts, and try to do all the models of PYQ based on the increasing and decreasing. So the maxima minima question, sometimes it may require AM, GM inequality or big calculation. So I suggest do the rate measure and the increasing and decreasing monotonicity concept of this AOD. Now the last comes the functions. So functions questions are not given directly. Often this is combined with some other topic. Like the functions question may be combined with the definite integration, or it may be combined with the LCD topic. So in functions there are many types of questions. So domains and ranges to begin with. Next the 1, 1 and on to. The next even and odd functions, periodic functions, composite function, inverse of a function. So like that there are many models are there. So that's why I keep that even though if you learn so many models, you will get only one question from this topic. If that question happens to be 1, 1 and onto type of question, you can easily answer. If it is even and odd function also, you can easily answer. But mostly this functions topic is combined with the other concepts, right? So these are the topics which you have to deal very cautiously while writing the exam. The remaining 16 questions with confidence you can solve. Sometimes what may happen is you may get a question which is difficult in matrices. You may get a question which is difficult in relations. You may get a question which is difficult in statistics. These are the 3 topics where you may get a very lengthy, very difficult question. In that case, you can come to these topics, and in this topic you can definitely depend on the definite integration. You can definitely depend properties, Leibniz rule, definitely you can see this, and then you can see the complex numbers questions also. So this is the way you try to approach, right? So 16 are very easy, 9 happen to be somewhat difficult. So try to attempt as many as questions possible, right Nana? So this is my analysis on the subject mathematics based on all the previous year's papers. Wish you good luck. So attempt the paper with confidence. So there is no need to be hurried throughout the paper. Take your time, read the question properly, and attempt the question. Usually it will take 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes in maths. So even if you do the problems very slowly, even if every question takes 5 minutes, 1 hour 15 minutes means 75 minutes. So you can easily answer 15 questions. So that will definitely fetch you 99 percentile in maths. Okay? Wish you good luck.